Here's the top 10 strikers you can buy in Football Manager 2024 after the winter update for less than £10 million. Let's go. First up is Matija Popovich, if that's how you pronounce it. He's an 18-year-old right-footed, balanced French attacking midfielder / striker, but everybody on this list does have a 20 out of 20 ability in playing the striker role. Looking at his attributes here, you can already see that he stands out in terms of acceleration, pace, determination, technique, and dribbling. You can pick him up for around £6.8 million. Next up, Gabriel Silva. Gabriel Silva is a 16-year-old Portuguese player who can pick it up for just £600,000. And by the way, guys, don't forget to hit subscribe on the channel. Looking at his attributes, you can see standouts of work rate, teamwork, acceleration, and finishing already at the tender age of just 16. Mustafa Hekimoglu is a Turkish striker who already in this save has determination 60. He has an asking price, I think, of around £2 million, which is great, and you can see standout attributes alongside determination include natural fitness, heading, finishing, technique. I mean, at 16, there may be 12s, 13s, and 14s, but these attributes are going to grow as this guy gets older. Next, we have Matija Popovich, the 17-year-old Serbian. He's looking really, really good. His Holy Trinity is looking excellent. That's dribbling, finishing, and first touch. He's got determination and flair and excellent physicals. If we go a little bit deeper under the bonnet, my scout tells me he's a fairly consistent performer already and could adapt well to living in another country. And get this, he's got an asking price of just £52,000. He's a no-brainer. Rodrigo Roa has just signed for Nottingham Forest, unfortunately, but apparently he's still got an asking price of around £6.5 million. He's going to be great. He's got dribbling 13, first touch 13, technique 14, determination 13, as well as a bunch of physicals already. In at number 5 is an Argentinian 17-year-old who you can pick up for just £4.1 million. He seems quite well-rounded, and although he is packing a lot of 12s where you would expect his strong attributes to be, finishing, heading, off the ball, acceleration, and pace, for example, what he does have in this particular save, which stood out to me, is insane work rate. 15 out of 20. That cannot be undervalued in your strikers. He's left-footed, has a balanced personality, and is described as a promising striker. Of course he is. My scout has picked up on his work rate, saying that he works really hard for the team, but also that he is super adaptable when it comes to living in another country. Handy, unless you're managing in Argentina. Into the top 4 now, and we have a 17-year-old English player who is going to take the world by storm. I have no doubt about it. He's a right-footed team player playing at MK Dons, and his name is Emre Tezal. My scout tells me he's a committed player who gives his all to the cause. His ability to strike the ball sweetly makes him a good finisher. He displays resolute characteristics, which is definitely something that you want in Football Manager. But downsides, is currently out with a long-term injury, and should be looking to add greater consistency to his game. Keep an eye out for that on your scouting reports. It's not good. These attributes are variable though, sometimes from save to save, so don't worry too much. You can pick Emre Tezal up for around £5 million at the start of Football Manager after the winter update. Bargain. In at number 3, we have a French 16-year-old who is very, very exciting. He plays at Marseille. On this save, he has a potential ability of 158 out of 200. Is available for around £4.9 million, and his name is Enzo Stern. Looking at his attributes, not a huge amount to shout about. 12 dribbling, 12 first touch, 11 technique, 12 work rate. But look what he does have. Determination 15. And flair 15. Again, looking under the bonnet, you can see that he has got a fairly determined attitude, is a fairly consistent performer already, and is a natural in a couple of positions. In at number 2 is an absolute bargain. He's a quick Spanish striker who's 17 years old, can be picked up for just £44,000 in the winter update in Football Manager 2024. His potential ability in this save here is 164 out of 200. He's got a great Holy Trinity here, dribbling, finishing, first touch, 13, 13, 13. He's got determination 17, which is just phenomenal. And look how focused he is. He's just literally a striker. Look at his positions graph thing. No messing about. He doesn't want to play left wing or right wing or centre mid. He just wants to be a striker. Looking underneath the bonnet, we can see he displays a fairly determined attitude, has great pace, and could be very adaptable when it comes to living in another country. But 2 big red flags on this particular save, and again, don't forget, these things can be variable from one save to the other. Fairly susceptible to injuries, and should be focusing on becoming a more consistent performer at this stage of his development. Annoying. Before we get into number 1, here's a reminder, do not forget to subscribe to the channel. That helps us out an absolute ton. And if you want to download this and all of the shortlists that we share with you guys into your Football Manager game, so you can just load it up, consider supporting us on Patreon. That's www.patreon.com/FMWONDERKIDS. The link's in the description. Okay, so in at number 1 is a 17-year-old, right-footed, fast Ecuadorian striker who plays for Barcelona, but not the Barcelona, it's a different one. Has an asking price of just £1.8 million and a potential ability in this save of 165 out of 200. Now, if you look at that in the Football Manager editor, that is a potential ability range of between 140 and 170. And all the players on the list today do have a potential ability range, and each one could come out anywhere within their respective range, meaning they could be better in your save or worse in your save than they are in this video. But we have compiled this list so that more than likely they will come out as like really high potential Wonderkids in your save anyway. But enough about that. This guy has got 14 dribbling, 13 finishing, 13 first touch and heading, 14 aggression, and 14 anticipation, which are 2 stats which I think are overlooked when it comes to goal scorers in Football Manager. 14 acceleration, 14 jump and reach, and 14 pace. He's only 17 years old. When we look under the bonnet, there's none of that red, flashy cons stuff about his consistency. In fact, we know he's got a balanced to normal personality, is fairly adaptable when it comes to living in another country, possesses a fair amount of pace, and is a very consistent performer. Now, if you didn't know, the darker green that these pros are in the scout report indicate the higher value that he has in a 1 out of 20 kind of scenario, just the same as a normal attribute. So he's basically probably got 20 out of 20 for consistency on this save in particular. Again, could be variable in yours. His name's Alan Obando, and again, you pick him up for just £1.8 million at the start of the game. It's an absolute steal. Here's the full list for you guys, so feel free to pause the video, write it down or whatever, but if you do want to download it, again, patreon.com/FMWonderKids. Please subscribe to the channel. Thank you very much. See you soon. Peace.